you ready for this?
Gonna be fun.
You will not stand in my way.
Frostborn, hunger. This pleases me.
I do not fear you, mortal.
Your soul shall be mine.
Don't make me laugh.
Needs a boot? Oh, I do. Feel a shredding, baby. Let the battle begin.
So hello and welcome to episode 13 and a half of the Nexus Trolls, a podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. So I'm your host, Linus Daz Kilius, and I'm joined as always by Mystic and Liqiud. Hey boys.
Hello.
So
Hi.
If you watched last episode, you might have noticed that Liqiud had to leave mid-episode for a work emergency, which seems like it got taken care of. Am I right there, Liqiud? Everything's okay? Everything's sorted?
Everything got sorted out.
Yeah, stuff happens. That's the great thing about live TV, live media and such. You didn't get as much of a preview of what happened if you didn't catch the live show, because I edited some of it out for the audio just to make it a little smoother. But because he left halfway through the show, we missed two very important segments. We missed, most importantly probably, well actually I'm not going to say most importantly, very importantly, Liquiud's eSports Corner. We also missed the HOTS debate, which we were promising everyone as well. Episode 2 of the HOTS debate, where I'm going to be tackling Liqiud on the debate topic for today. So this show here, it's going to be going up kind of as like a mini part 2 of episode 13, just with those two segments. There was some news and such that's hit since we did the last show. We're going to pretend like it didn't happen because we want to talk about it next week, including that patch that just hit today. There's a lot of stuff there, but we'll be going over that next week. So I apologize if you're kind of hoping this is going to be like a patch preview show or something, because you'll be sorely disappointed. Okay, so just jumping right into it, how about we do a little Liqiud Esports Corner?
Hey yo, how you doing? It's time for Liquiud's Esports Corner. That's right. And you're gonna want to stick around for this.
I take away Liqiud.
All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about HGC. I know it is Friday night, and EU and NA have actually had some games for week 2 of HGC. We're not going to discuss those, though. No spoilers for anybody. If you have missed the first week's games, there may be a little bit of spoilers in here. I'm going to go over the top teams right now for each region. So if you don't want to hear that, mute your mic for or mute your speakers for the next, 2 minutes or so. But in NA, we do have Team 8 and GFE currently in the top of the standings for HGC 2017. In EU, it's Team Experts and Misfits. Both, I think, 3 of those 4 teams people expected. I think some people were surprised Team Expert got up there. Maybe not. Everybody's got their favorite teams, and sometimes they just think they're going to go regardless of what everybody else thinks. So, and then in the open division, we have 3 clear front runners in each of the regions that have played so far, with a large number of points between those teams and the rest of the teams in that division. In Korea, we have Supreme Mixtape in first place. In the EU, we have Team Zealot. And in North America, we have UTA. All great teams, all doing a good job. If you haven't watched the cast yet, try to catch them. One of the things I like that Blizzard's done is all of the VODs that they've put up all look like their best of 5 series, especially with HGC proper. So when you go and you look at them, you don't know who won just based off the game. And they fill the end of the game with replays and with some commentary. So even if you think someone's about to win and you're like, oh, hey, this video has 10 minutes left. So, you might be caught by surprise by the game ending, like a 9-minute game that the video length is like 25 minutes, right? So I think Blizzard's actually done a great job. The production value has been incredibly higher than it has been in the past. The VODs, they did a great job with the VODs. They've made the replays available too on their website, so you can download the replays and actually watch the replays if you want to. And then finally in the show notes, I did put open division signups for both NA and EU. February 6th is the next NA Open Division Cup, and I don't remember the date of the EU. If memory serves, it's like somewhere around maybe the 30th or 31st of this month, but you still have time to sign up. So big things going on around HGC. And then there was another big announcement this week, especially if you're a college student like our good friend Mystic here. Heroes of the Dorm signups are open now for Heroes of the Dorm 2017. That link is also in the show notes. And all those games, well, maybe not all those games, but those games will be exclusively streamed live on Facebook. So they won't be on Twitch. They won't be on YouTube. They'll be on Facebook. So I'm excited about that. That's always interesting to watch. The last 2 years of Heroes of the Dorm brought us Fan, Udall, and Akaface. So I'm interested to see who's going to come out of Heroes of the Dorm 2017, both with a scholarship and a pro career possibly out of it.
I got a couple questions for you there, Liquid. So,
shoot.
First off, for Heroes of the Dorm, what do you think about this Facebook live exclusivity too? I mean, most people watch video gaming through Twitch, right? And ESPN was kind of their platform to make it more popular and get it to like more mainstream audience. I guess maybe that Facebook is the idea here for that too. But do you think this is a good move for them? A good move on their part?
I personally don't like this move. I can see why they're doing it. I think they're trying to appeal to a slightly different audience, like they did with ESPN. And now they're like, okay, well, we did ESPN for 2 years in a row. Now what can we do differently this time around? If you think about Twitch is already their core audience because we're averaging like 35,000 viewers to HGC matches right now. I don't know that we would get much higher than that if we did Heroes of the Dorm on Twitch. Maybe we would, maybe we wouldn't. But I think on Facebook, right, most of those college kids already have Facebook accounts, or I'm assuming that's the case. It's been a long time since I've been in college.
Facebook didn't exist back then, Liquid.
Right? That's a good point.
Was the internet around back when you were in college, bud?
The internet was around when I was in college, so at least there's that. But, assuming that most of those kids have Facebook accounts, their parents and their grandparents and their extended families all have Facebook accounts, and they can just say, hey, look, we're going to be streaming on Facebook. You can totally check out this cool thing that I'm going to be doing. I don't know. I'm torn. I like the way it was. Personally, I liked it being streamed on Twitch and then shifting over to ESPN for the Final Four. I think that was a great way to do it. In fact, I think they even did more on ESPN than the Final Four last year. I'd have to go back and look. But I watched it all on Twitch except for the Final Four. So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell.
I guess at the end of the day, the three of us, we're going to find it no matter where it is, right? And all the pre-existing fans are going to find it no matter where it is. It's more for those like trying to open up the new audiences. So maybe that's kind of their logic there.
Exactly.
What do you think, Mystic? Do you like the Facebook move here?
I kind of agree with Liquid. I feel like they should have done Facebook in addition to Twitch, where if they're on Twitch, they can keep most of their viewers. And then for anybody that also has Facebook, they can, also see it via Facebook for those that don't view it on Twitch.
Right. Next follow-up question. Because you're saying that everyone's got their favorite team. You know what? I don't yet. I'm still a Cloud9 fan from 2 years ago. And I know like a lot of their players are still kicking about and such, but I'm still trying to decide who I want to invest my emotions into here. Do you guys have any suggestions?
Easy. You need to get on the GFE hype train. Like, I mean, Shiz isn't here to back up his boys on B step, so I can tell you, Gale Force is where you need to go. Like, that's the way it is.
Oh, well,
yeah. Come on.
Who's your vote for, Mystic? Who should I be rooting for? See, the thing is, too, I don't like going for like the clear cut potential like favorite. I usually like going for a bit more of an underdog that still has a bit of a chance, so you don't get totally stomped, right? But yeah, so who do you think I should be rooting for here, Mystic?
I mean, personally, I like Team 8 just because they're kind of my team favorites back when Chu 8 was still like trying to get into the HGC and whatnot. I mean, some of the teams today that I saw, I thought were pretty good. I like Team Freedom because I like their motto: live, it was learn and adapt. I think it was.
See, if
I do have to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead, bud.
I was just gonna say I do have to agree with Mystic's thoughts on Team Freedom. I mean, here's a team that basically formed out of Hero League. That's their story. They formed in Hero League, and they've moved into the pro scene. Tiger JK, Mystic and I cast a game with Tiger JK a couple months ago in Chair League. These are guys that met in the game, decided they were going to try this, made it, qualified, and now they're playing. And I'm not going to spoiler any of the games today. They were all good games today. But I I could see supporting them. I could also see supporting Team 8. My reasons for GFE are just, I like Fan, I like Udall, I like Crowan. I like to see what they can do together. It just so happened that they all ended up on the same team, and that worked out for me.
Yeah, they've got good personalities, and they are like some of the larger personalities, more recognizable ones too. So, okay, well, the jury's still out for me, but I'll try and form my opinion over the next few weeks. But I got to get it soon before, I don't want to be accused of being a bandwagon jumper.
Right, you got to get it before we go into the first actual tournament.
That's true.
So while we're still in group play.
Okay, I promise. Give me 2 more weeks, and I'll figure out who I want to be following here. So I interrupted you too before your final note there too on your esports corner. So you want to take that one?
Oh, right. So the only other thing I want to point out is that Chair League Season 4 starts January 30th. I think schedules are either going out tonight or tomorrow for the teams that are already signed up. So if you want to participate in Chair League, which I strongly encourage, if you're even listening to this podcast right now and you play with 4 friends, go sign up for Chair League. There's a division for everybody. You will have a great time. It is 100% a beer league. If you like doing any adult sport or any adult anything with your buddies, and you got 4 other friends to play Chair League with, do this. You will have a good time.
If you like doing adult anything with your buddies,
Right,
did you think about that before you said that?
Basketball, football. No, you know what? I really didn't connect the dots. I was thinking, maybe you play adult soccer, maybe you play adult, flag football, maybe you play. There's an adult kickball league out here that's pretty fun to watch, and they all go out and get drunk afterwards. Maybe you do any of those adult type things with other adults.
Maybe it's just my mind that went right away from the PG, right into the rated R side of things. So
I was not trying to go that direction at all. But
I've just got a dirty mind. Shiz was thinking it because he's probably watching. Okay, let's take it from that awkward moment into the hot debate, shall we?
Let's do it.
Are you prepared for the battle to come? You may have the bronze, brother, but I've got the brains. We both know that's not true. I don't.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, we have this regular segment or semi-regular segment. It was going to be a regular segment until Shiz stopped appearing on the show a month and a half ago back because he was dodging his penalty for it. But we have a segment called the Hots Debate. Now, the idea here is that we're going to be debating a topic. It's going to be between 2 of the hosts. In this case, it's going to be myself and Liqiud, and Mystic's going to be the moderator. So what we're going to do is we're going to debate a topic. So this week's topic is that tanks are the most important role in the game. So the question, the person who's going to be defending that topic is going to be Liqiud, and I am going to be rebuking the topic that tanks aren't the most important role in the game. So whoever loses this debate, and that's going to be decided by you, the viewers. We're going to put up a Twitter poll, just at the Nexus Trolls on Twitter, as well as one on Reddit. We'll put that post out there on Reddit and just the Heroes of the Storm subreddit there. And we'll just put it in the comments. You can just vote on whoever you think wins. We'll have the poll open for a few days. We'll tabulate the 2, Twitter and Reddit. And whoever loses will have to write a love poem to Murky, our favorite fishy friend. So both myself and Liqiud are kind of dreading this punishment. And whoever does write the poem has to recite it next week on the show and also post it onto Reddit as well for public humiliation purposes. So the format for this is going to be the defender, the person who's defending the topic, that's Liqiud in this case, has 2 minutes for his opening statement. It's followed by 3 minutes for me to rebuke whatever Liqiud has to say. Then my opening statements as well. Then the defender, Liqiud, will have another minute to rebuke what I say. And then Mystic, as the moderator, will ask the rebuker a question. He'll ask me a question. I've got 1 minute to respond to that question. Then he'll ask the defender a question. That's Liqiud. And he's got 1 minute to respond as well. It's going to be closed up with 2 minutes from myself, giving my closing statements. And then finally, Liquid's going to close it up as the defender with his final 2 minutes as well. So in total, I don't know what it adds up to, somewhere around 10, 15 minutes, we will have the HOTS debate concluded, at which point we'll put up the Twitter page. Liqiud thinks I'm going down, but sir, I know, as the reigning champion and the only one with experience in the HOTS debate, I think I know what this is a foregone conclusion. So you've got an uphill battle to climb here, sir. So
You're skipping the audible rule, though.
Oh, yes. I almost forgot about the audible rule. If I scroll down the show notes, I would have seen that there. Each participant gets one audible, where they can interrupt the other person mid-argument for a 15-second statement. So this can be used at any time throughout the show to just interrupt and do their 15 seconds. And you only get one, and you only get 15 seconds. Okay, so I will let Mystic, as the official scorekeeper here, take it away.
All right, let's see. So I got my stopwatch handy. Liquid, whenever you're ready to start, I will start the timer.
Okay. So tanks are the most important role of the game. Without tanks, you have no CC, you have no peel, you have nothing to eat damage coming at you, leaving orbs, for example, and no mobile ward. Think about that. Vision is the most critical element to this game. Knowing where your enemies are at all times, critical. Being able to stick a tank in a bush so that you're pre-warned on a rotation coming into you, sticking a tank out in the middle of the lane so that, again, vision on people rotating in on you, peeling for all those little squishy, I'm an AD carry, I'm the most important person in the game. You got to have something peeling for that. You're going to die instantaneously when you get melted by the 800 people coming down on top of you like, oh, look, there's the squishy. That's why you see things like squishies get killed in the middle of the lane. They didn't have a tank peel for them. Not to mention the CC to set up those lovely wombo combos. Without that, you cannot win the game. And I'm going to even cede the rest of my time to you, Daz.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine. He feels like he doesn't have anything more to say. So, Mystic, feel free to start the clock whenever you're ready. I just like to start by apologizing to the listener for having to listen to what Liquid had to say, because it's completely and utterly false and wrong. You should almost wipe whatever you heard from your memory, because tanks, as a fact, are not the most important role in the game. And I'll tell you why. I'll start by illustrating with an example. So, if you lose a game, you go to the stats screen, right? The first thing you do is you think to yourself, okay, am I the one who lost the game? You look at your stats, right? It's the first thing you do. You look at your kills, you look at your deaths, you look at your damage, maybe you didn't throw the game. So what do? You look at everyone else's deaths, damage. You start trying to think in your mind, who was it that was responsible for what we did here wrong? And typically, like maybe it was that Nazebo that fed 12 deaths. Maybe it was that Vala that did absolutely no damage, right? Maybe it was your healer who did like half the healing on the other team. There's usually someone you can point the finger at. It's not only the stat screen, too. Usually you can come up with stuff, you form your opinions throughout the game. I'm not, obtuse enough to think that that's not the case. Maybe it was that ETC, that tank that couldn't land his mosh puts, couldn't, peel for you properly, right? My whole point is, it's not tanks that lose you the game or win you the game. It's the weakest link on your team that's the problem that can throw you the game. So my argument is that the team with the strongest weakest link is the most likely one to win.
Audible.
1 second.
All right.
2 seconds.
Ready, set, go.
If you look at the weakest player versus the strongest player, it doesn't matter what class they're on. That's always going to be the case. If you look at players across the board with the same skill level, the tank will always be the most important thing on the team.
And stop.
That was just a wasted audible. That meant nothing. So the weakest link loses the game. Like it's a simple fact. It doesn't matter. It could be the tank. It could be anyone else. It's about positioning and mistakes. Another example too. Let's look at a draft, right? You look at your draft, and the first thing you start thinking about is, okay, what do we need to win this here? Like, what's going to be our problem? And usually, you look at the highest skill cap character. Say, maybe it's a Medivh or an Illidan. Maybe it's like that Zeratul or Nova. You're like, oh man, if that Nova's a crappy Nova, we're gonna lose this hands down, right? Well, it's the highest skill cap character, that burden of execution. If that character can execute, can make less mistakes, you know that you're going to do well. So again, it's the weakest link, the team that can execute the best, and the players that you can identify having the toughest roles, which can be the tank. It cannot. Sometimes it isn't the tank that will lose you the game. And again, you might see a Stitches to you, and you think, hey, if that Stitches can land his hooks, then we're going to win this one, right? And that's what it all comes down to. It's those higher skill cap characters, regardless of role. So let's even look at a team fight situation too. If you've got two equal teams of equal skill, similar compositions, both have a tank, both have other roles too, and no one's like throwing it like I mentioned before, like your Nazebo feeding. Who loses the team fights? It's the one with the guy who makes that bad positional mistake, right? Who gets in the bad spot, who ends up dying because of their mistake, getting you into that 4v5 situation, ultimately losing you that team fight, and that ends up snowballing throughout the game and becoming the reason you lose. So again, my argument, but just concluding here, is that it's not the tank. It can be anyone. This is a game about, it's a team brawl, it's a team game, so it's the weakest link on the team, regardless of role. Take it away, Liqiud.
And stop. Okay. All right, whenever you're ready, Liqiud, you have 1 minute.
All right. I agree with Daz. That might shock you. Player skill is very critical to this game. If you have a bad player, doesn't matter what he's on, he's the weakest link and it will cost you the game. I'm not arguing that. I'm not even disagreeing with that. My point is that if all skill levels are equal and everybody's playing at the exact same skill, the tank becomes the most critical role. Because at that point, you're not dying to a positional mistake. You're dying to not CCing, or you're dying to not peeling, or you're dying to not knowing about a rotation. All of those things are solved with a solid tank. All of those things are roles that the tank fills. So when player skill level is equal across the board, the tank becomes the most critical role in the game at that point.
I want to use my audible, but I'm not going to.
All right, I think that's it from Liqiud. Okay, so question for the rebuker, Daz. So, what do you believe that about what Liquid's just said right now? If all the roles in the game are played by equal skill level people, what do you think about that?
I still think my argument holds true. I was going to use an audible, but thank you, Mystic, for addressing what I was going to be talking about and giving me that freebie there. A lot of cases, I've seen games where you've got not enough damage, right? You might have 2 tanks in the game, 2 very important roles, according to Liquid. But what do you end up saying at the end of the day? You're like, hey, we didn't have enough damage. You need damage to win the game too, right? There's so many different aspects. You need good damage. You need good healing. Yes, you do need a good tank in front of you as well, but he's not the most important role in the game. If he was the most important role in the game, why not just go with 5 tanks? We actually were talking about there's a game that was coming on with 3 tanks just recently. You need other roles to complement your tank. It's a team game. You need to make sure you've got the team synergy, and every role is equally as important. If you got a bad healer, a bad damage, bad tank, you're gonna lose the game regardless of role. And
10 seconds.
Yes, the tank has CC, like Mystics, or like Liquid said, but hey, you can get CC from your Kael'thas's, you can get CCs from your Rhaegars too. There's lots of CC to go around. It's not just the tank.
And stop. All right, now Liquid, you being the defender that tanks are the most important role in the game. Daz was making the statement that all the skill levels were the same. However, what do you believe that the tanks excel at, even though all the skills are the same?
So tanks excel at 2 things, in my opinion, and they're okay at a third. The first of those is peeling. If you've ever seen a group of squishy people running away, the tank peels way better than, to use Daz's example, a Kael'thas. Sure, he might be able to peel a little bit because he's got his gravity lapse, but he's not going to peel the way an ETC would, or the way a Johanna would, or the way any other tank would. Second, I think they're really good at initiating the battle with a form of CC. So whether that's, again, power sliding in, whether it's running in and hitting a mosh pit, whether it's like any level of Artanis with a swap, a tank is going to initiate way harder than any other role in the game. And I think between those 2 things,
10 seconds,
just those 2 things alone, that's where your strongest capability on a tank is.
And stop.
You don't have to wait to the end of the time. Once he's done, you can move it along. Okay, so I'll just go into my closing statements then. I think Liquid's got a lot of good points. He does. The only problem is it's very narrow vision. You like that, the hands there? He's got a very narrow vision. He's not reading between the lines. I don't even know if that's applicable here, but it sounded good on radio. So the problem is that, yes, of course, a tank's important. engage is important, CC is important, but there are other important roles too. The question here that we're trying to defend today is that the tank is the most important. The tank might make a perfect engage, but the question is, do you have the damage to follow up? Do you have the healer support? Do you have the specialists that are pushing lane to do what they need to do as well? One of the great thing that Blizzard has done with this amazing game that we all love is they've created a hero brawler. I know they've rebranded it recently to a MOBA, but it really is a hero brawler. It's all about the team fights. There is no carry. If you want to, yes, you can carry a team if you're the highest skill cap player on the team, but in order to carry, you need a very high skill differential between the rest of your team and the rest of the players you're playing against. Whereas a weakest link too, it's really easy to throw. If you're a little bit worse than everybody else, it's pretty identifiable. And just looking at Hero League and how toxic Hero League can get shows you that as well. So my whole point is that the team synergy is so important. It's impossible to identify one role being more important than the other. And that is simply the way it should be. So you know what, Liquid, you can go ahead with your closing statements. Remember, I've still got my audible, sir, so watch what you say.
Way to save that, Daz. Way to save that. So I'm gonna close with a simple statement. And I think this brings it into focus for everybody. So I might have narrow vision, but it's laser focused on the target. And that is, we don't really see a no tank game. You'll see no support games. It's been done. Medivh is classified as a specialist, even though he has shields. I've seen Medivh and Zarya go into a battle and win, because between those two sets of shields, the other team can't damage them. I've seen no specialist games, Daz, where it's just assassins, tanks.
Okay, audible. I gotta jump in here. This is just getting too ridiculous. Have you ever seen a no assassins game? Yeah, like in competitive sports, there are other roles too that you have to have. No support games are very rare and few and far between, and usually it's because they have self healing properties in their self, the characters. So this is not just you can say I've seen no. Okay. You get my point.
I'm glad you brought that up, Daz, because I was coming to the fact that you never see no assassin games.
You baited me.
That was the next point I was gonna say. I did bait you, and you wasted your audible. You're right. You never see a no assassin. Well, I take it back. There are times where you will see a 5 specialist game, and on those crazy maps and in those crazy ways, those 5 specialists might win. But the 2 roles that are almost always 99.999% of the time in the game, assassins and tanks. And where would the squishies be without the big beefy tanks standing in the front, taking the damage, peeling, and doing the CC? You know where they'd be? Back at the core resin, baby. That's where they'd be. I'd mic drop, but I like my mic too.
I was thinking of trying to come up with a prop mic or something too to drop. You know what? I don't even care who wins anymore. This was a great segment. I liked it a lot. So everyone who's watching and the chat's going crazy. I haven't been able to read through it and comment because I've been trying to laser focus on what Liquid's been saying. But I've thrown it up in Twitter already. So you can head over to @TheNexusTrolls. So just twitter.com/TheNexusTrolls. You'll see our little voting thing there now. So you can go in, you can vote for who you think won the debate, either myself or Liquid. We'll also be posting on Reddit as well, probably later tonight. But hey guys, I think that was a great episode too. I look forward to this Murky sonnet for whomever loses. Hopefully it won't be me, but I'm sure Liquid's hoping it's not him as well. Either way, well played, gents. Next time we do this, Mystic is going to be challenging whomever wins. So good luck with that one, Mystic. And then also, we do need to come up with some ideas. So feel free to toss it in chat. Toss it on, tweet at us, email us at podcast@thenexustrolls.com. A debate topic for, well, it won't be next week, it'll be 2 weeks from now. Next week will be the punishment. 2 weeks from now will be the next debate. And what punishment will be good to go along with it too. So we still are waiting on Shiz, who did the first debate, to do his punishment. He was talking about coming on this show, but he talks about coming on every show. So we don't actually believe the guy anymore. But he will, next time he comes on the show, he is no longer really going to be a regular host. He'll come on as guests from time to time, just because of his work scheduling issues and such. But next time he does come on as a guest, he will be doing his pepper eating punishment for his lost debate. But you can also check that out too. We got VODs up on our YouTube channel or thenexustrolls.com to check that out. Okay, boys, that was a nice little part 2 episode. Yeah, go ahead, Liquid.
I do want to just make one comment. Chat was actually going crazy, and as the person that moderated the last debate, that's awesome. I'm just happy to see chat was into this debate because it wasn't as popular last time around.
Yeah, and definitely, like, sorry, chat, for not being able to, like, read up on what you've been saying there and such, too. But we do definitely appreciate it. Usually we do interact a bit more with chat, but it's a little bit easier to filter it out when you're not in the middle of a debate, too, and read and respond to it. But thanks so much, guys, for being involved. And, yeah, head over to Twitter, vote up. And if you think that I won, please vote for me, because I know Liquid's got chatbots and stuff out there. He's going to be voting for himself 1,000,000 times over. He's got his botnet based out of Russia. I got to face that kind of challenge.
Wait, you can't try to skew the data. That's not fair.
I can do whatever I want, sir. You do whatever you want. You got a mic, too. Okay.
I do not have a bot network working on this debate.
I think I'll wrap up the show here, though. Just so everyone knows, if you popped in the middle of this, this was kind of like a makeup show because we usually stream Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. But Liquid had a work emergency he had to leave for in the middle of it. So we did a couple segments today to make up for that. So this is kind of like a special show that we don't usually do. But thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us if it's your first time. And again, you can always check us out on twitch.tv/the Nexus Trolls. Again, Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. I also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters. If you like the show and you're looking for a way to support us, you can head over to patreon.com/the Nexus Trolls. This show's always going to be free, but if you're looking for a way to support us, you head over to Patreon and you can support us there. We are looking at getting to a stretch goal where if we reach that stretch goal, we're going to start doing after show games with our patrons. So we're really looking forward to that. We've tested it out a couple times over the past couple of weeks and they've been very successful. We had a lot of fun. So yeah, head over to patreon.com/the Nexus Trolls and check that out. You can also subscribe to us. We got an audio version of this show on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, or wherever you happen to find your shows online or your podcasts online. You can also visit our website at thenexustrolls.com. There you can watch this and past shows, along with past video streams, which can also be found on our YouTube channel, incidentally. So for announcements about the show and general Heroes news, you can follow us on Twitter at thenexustrolls.com. Finally, if you need to get in touch with us, the best way is to email us at podcast@thenexustrolls.com. We'd love to get some ideas and suggestions for future debate topics and punishments, because this tank's running dry, and we need some help from you guys. So before we head off, though, Liquid, where can people find you online? What do you do?
So you can find me online on Twitter at twitter.com/liquidgg. That's LIQIUDGG. And you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/liquidlive, LIQIUD live. I am usually to be found there casting chair league games. With Mystic, we also cast the Helix Gamers League, which is a weekly tournament on Saturday afternoons. That starts around 4 p.m. Eastern. And we actually just recently got approved to cast HGC Open Games. So February 6th, we will be casting the HGC Open Games.
Sweet.
So
it's going to be awesome. Can't wait to hear those. Okay, well, thanks everyone again for watching. We'll see you next week.
'Cause I'm TNT.